Hello there, folks, and welcome back to our summer movie reviews. We know it's technically not summer anymore, but we want to finish up and get going on the rest of these reviews. All right, so today we are going to talk about Mad Max. Now, I kind of liked the old Mad Max movies, especially Road Warrior. They were this kind of cool car movie that we really don't get that much of these days, other than maybe the Fast and Furious and the occasional Jason Statham movie, which is also a Fast and Furious movie now. Who would have guessed? Either way, when I saw the new Mad Max, I really didn't feel either way about it. I wasn't big enough of a Mad Max fan to be enraged over it not looking like Mad Max. And I wasn't I don't know. I didn't love it or hate it looking at the trailers. I thought, it's just another generic summer movie that got remade and did something new. Well, I was pleasantly surprised. This was a very different movie than I thought it was going to be. And hell, it's made in a way that most movies aren't made these days. Or hell, maybe have never even ever been made before. This movie is literally one giant chase scene from one end of the world to the other end of the world, and then back to the first end of the world. This wouldn't work normally as a film, even as a dumb summer movie, but for some reason it did. And they got the original director, George Miller, to come back and do this. And it honestly, it feels like an evolution of that kind of storytelling, where it's a lot of environmental stuff. They're telling the story through the environment, not like environmental, like whatever. Yeah, it was really good. The action was really good. The effects. This has got to be one of the most like hardcore, if you're into like metal music kind of movies to ever watch. It's really, really well done. And I'm a huge fan of Mad Max now because of it. Who the hell could have said that? Yeah, this guy's 70. This director is like 70 years old. He's an old man. And this is some of the most hardcore and actually hardcore and well shot action of the summer, of maybe a hell of the whole year. And a lot of this is done through practical effects, which I love practical effects. And meaning there's not a whole hell of a lot of CGI in this movie, which is a really good thing. Each time somebody gets hit and there's an explosion, it's an actual fucking explosion. It's not pussyfooting around using green screen and CG. Car gets smashed up, that sucker is getting smashed. The only kind of downside to this movie is, though, it almost didn't need to be a Mad Max movie. Mad Max is not the central character in this film. Furiosa is the main character. It's her story that for the most part, we're following. It's her decisions. And in the end, it's her who is lifted up at the end as almost like a godlike figure. I think realistically, George Miller, he wanted to make another movie. He wanted to set it in this really wild world, but he was stuck with putting Mad Max in it. And Tom Hardy doesn't do a bad job or anything. For a while, he isn't really the main character. He's almost like a side character. There's another character in here who, one of those white war boy type folks, who's more of a character. And what's weird is, in the trailers, he's just shown us this kind of crazy guy. What a day! What a lovely, lovely day! And in reality, in the movie, he's actually a really pretty well developed character with emotion. It's weird, and this movie is probably a lot more. You can feel like the world is getting worse in this movie compared. Like as Mad Max, everything was kind of like went from bad and it stayed bad. This movie, it's like it's bad and it's getting worse. The world is just kind of evaporating and deteriorating, and it's getting and resources are becoming increasingly scarce. And this is cool. I want to see more Mad Max movies done like this. It's so weird. But it's weird. It's like, I don't know. I almost don't want another movie because this movie is set up so perfectly and ends so perfectly. Oh, it's strange, and I think this is literally my favorite movie this summer. I didn't it's one of those deals where I had absolutely zero expectations for it, and it wound up blowing me out of the park. You know, it's like Avengers kind of let me down. Jurassic Park was all right. You know, and a couple others, it's like, eh. But I mean, this movie I actually legitimately like, and I've been recommending it to people nonstop. You know, even people, if you didn't like Mad Max before, you will like it now. You know, you think Fast and Furious is insane kind of car action. You don't know. You don't even know all that. Like, it's weird. Like, Mad Max and Fast and Furious are like two beasts of a completely different. Like, they're the same species, but they're completely different. You know, one is really a really realistic kind of hardcore metal kind of way. This is not like how you would make a movie. It's like almost like an independent filmmaker coming in here. Whereas Fast and Furious is this shiny CGI corporate sponsored thing. It's really really interesting to watch to want to watch these two movies back to back because of the way they are. All right, well, I think I've chewed your ear off for a couple minutes too long. All right, well, I will talk to you later. Bye.